You're watching the KOM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Salvation Army in Jasper and Newton counties are making preparations to serve Thanksgiving dinner to Joplin residents.
Plus, we'll hear how the Chiefs have named their very one fan of the year.
And we've got ourselves a chilly but otherwise nice start to our Thanksgiving. We'll take a look at what the day is looking like for us here coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 a.m. on this Thursday, Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you at home. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Amber, and to our fine folks back in the control room here, making sure that we can bring you the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. That's what we're here to do.
Yep. A lot of people would argue that they are the biggest Kansas City Chiefs fan, but a reporter, Jackson Overstreet, brings us the story of a man the Chiefs have named the fan of the year.
And so this is what I envisioned standing right there at the top of the steps. This is what I saw right then.
Kelly Kennedy is a Chiefs fan, but that may be an understatement. Kelly Kennedy may be one of the biggest Chiefs fans, ever since he saw the team play for the first time when he was a kid.
Chiefs ended up winning 21-20, and from that time on, I was hooked.
Kennedy has been a season ticket holder since 1995. And you can see by his basement in his house in Hayesville, he's collected a lot of team history.
Autographed by Tony Gonzalez.
By now, you can probably guess Kennedy is not any normal Chiefs fan. He's the Chiefs' 2023 nominee for NFL Fan of the Year. He was surprised with the nomination before the Chiefs' opening game back in September, getting the news directly from NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
He handed me the jersey, and I was just dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say. I was holding up the jersey.
But Kennedy is more than just a Chiefs fan. Part of his nomination comes from his work as both the swim coach at Campus High School and the fundraising they do with the Swim to a Wish event every year.
We're getting ready to do year number 12, and we've raised a little over $250,000 for Make-A-Wish.
Kelly started fundraising to pay back Make-A-Wish because 20 years ago the organization sent him, his wife, and his 4-year-old daughter to Disney World.
You know, I've had some of them from Make-A-Wish say, "Kelly, you've paid us back," but I don't see it that way. That it's just, I don't know that I could ever pay you back for that.
If you ask Kennedy, he still doesn't quite believe that he's Fan of the Year, but he plans to make Chiefs Kingdom proud.
I'm doing the best that I can to put a positive light on them, and in my little part of the world that I can do that on.
Kennedy does, in fact, make the Chiefs Kingdom proud.
He certainly does. An impressive fan right there. So if you think you're the number one super fan, I think Kennedy's got you beat there. He is really on top of it. And of course, today we're on top of what you need to know for the weather, right? Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? Well, I have some good news. It's going to be a good day. Right now, we've got a beautiful sunrise from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. You can see we've got clear skies to get our day underway. However, clouds will increase a little later today. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also showing us those clear skies as we get the day underway. Not the John Cleese skies, but the clear skies. 34 in Joplin, though, 33 in Pittsburgh. So it is cold as we get our day underway, but this is the warmest day we're going to have for the next several days, and it's going to be the closest to normal we're going to get for a while as well. We're looking at highs today pushing into the upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s out there, so some of you could go above normal as we head into the afternoon. And as we head late afternoon, say about 3, 4 o'clock, we'll start to see a few more clouds increasing across the area, and we're going to start to go mostly cloudy as we head into the evening and overnight. I know a lot of folks are planning some Black Friday shopping. I know a lot of folks may be planning to come back home this weekend, maybe watching us on the KOM Plus app. We'll take a look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Amber?
Thanks, Chris. The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton counties are getting ready for its Thanksgiving dinner today. Folks will be able to swing by the Salvation Army at 320 East 8th Street in Joplin from noon to 1 to get a free Thanksgiving meal. Officials say they usually serve between 400 and 600 people on Thanksgiving Day.
It is a lot of looking at numbers, looking at how much we would need per person, so how many stuffing boxes, how many green bean cans, how many mushroom soup cans, just kind of getting it prepped. They have a local college group that comes in and actually debones all of the turkeys and gets it ready for us, so we have that blessing.
If you want to help make sure everyone has food on this holiday season, consider donating to our Feed the Four States campaign on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Thanksgiving is today, and that means Black Friday shopping will start shortly. Cherokee County Sheriff Groves wants everyone to remind shoppers that retail holiday still comes with some potential scams. Don't show large amounts of cash when paying for items, and don't leave items in your vehicle. Put them in the trunk instead. Have a reliable location for package drop-offs and monitor all credit card activity. We'll have some more additional tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A judge today sentenced a Goodman, Missouri man to life in prison for child sex crimes. Authorities say David Hood sexually assaulted 3 underage family members. A jury found him guilty of statutory rape, first-degree sodomy, and 3 counts of incest. He received 3 life sentences for the crimes. The head of Carl Junction Chamber of Commerce is stepping down. The chamber today held a farewell to its executive director, Kavanaugh Studovan, with a small public event. Studovan says leaving will be hard, but she won't be very far away.
It's bittersweet, and I'm definitely going to miss it, but I'm still excited that I'm still going to be around in the community and still being able to serve the residents of Carl Junction just in a different capacity.
Kavanaugh continues to serve with her community with the Economic Security Corporation in Joplin as a community organizer. Police are investigating after a person was killed in a shooting outside of a casino in Bartelsville, Oklahoma Tuesday. According to the Osage County Sheriff Office, a tribal officer was responding to a possible theft at the new Osage Casino and Hotel. Police say a person was allegedly trying to leave with stolen property. The person was then tried to drive away as the officer was trying to get in the car. Police say that's when a citizen shot the driver, who died from their injuries. Authorities say neither the suspected shooter nor the driver was tribal members. Up next, and still to come, colder weather is here and so are the viruses. We'll see how one state is already a hot spot for the flu. And later, we'll see how one school is using the Thanksgiving holiday as a teaching moment for students. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Feels good to be home.
This Black Friday at Ashley, doors open at 7 a.m. And for 5 hours only on Black Friday, you can get 30% off store-wide. The furniture sale you've been waiting for is finally here. Ashley's Black Friday sale going on now.
In Health Watch this morning, a new study has found long-term use of ADHD medications can rise the risk of cardiovascular disease. Researchers in Sweden followed the medical records of thousands of individuals with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder for a number of years. They found overall heart disease risk was 23% higher for people who use ADHD medication for more than 5 years compared to those who didn't. Previous research and similar findings, doctors commonly prescribe stimulants to treat ADHD, which are known to elevate blood pressure, making the heart work harder. Experts say patients should be aware of the risks, but for many people, they say the benefits outweigh the risks. Cold and flu season is ramping up, and of course, that means COVID-19 as well. The health officials say COVID vaccinations rates are lower than they like to see. According to the CDC data through mid-November, roughly 15% of adults and 5% of children have gotten the latest COVID-19 vaccine. COVID-19 hospitalizations are on the rise, with more than 16,000 new admissions during the week ending November 11th. Hospitalizations rates are lower than they were this time last year, but nearly 3 times higher than they were during this summer's record low. Flu and RSV levels are also on the rise, but respiratory viruses hospitalizations this season has been patients with COVID-19. The weather is getting colder, and with lower temperatures, hospital trips and flu cases are on the rise. Fox Jordan Borwin has more.
This latest map from the CDC has Florida in dark orange, showing high levels of hospital visits for respiratory illnesses as of November 11th.
We do seem to be a kind of a hot spot, and that's pretty typical of what we'll generally see. It just has a lot to do with socialization and how much contact people are having with each other.
So far this fall, the CDC estimates there's been at least 780,000 flu cases. Of those, there's been at least 8,000 hospitalizations and 490 flu-related deaths, including at least one child. This flu season, RSV is also a concern. Meanwhile, COVID cases seem to be slowing down, according to USF professor Dr. Thomas Unash.
The numbers are really starting to increase, at least doubling over the last 4 weeks or so. Here in the state of Florida. On the other hand, COVID seems to be just puttering along. So we may be in a situation this year where we'll mostly see, RSV and influenza as a problem and not so much COVID.
According to the CDC, it's not yet clear how effective the current flu vaccines are, but Dr. Unash says it's one of the best ways to minimize the chances of being hospitalized. The latest data shows about 35% of adults and 33% of children in the U.S. have been vaccinated against the flu virus. If you're traveling this Thanksgiving, Dr. Unash encourages people to take steps to protect themselves.
I will wear masks and I carry hand sanitizer around and try and keep my hands away from my face and do the best I can. And that's basically the best thing that you can do. Wash your hands a lot and try not to breathe other people's air as much as possible.
We've got ourselves a relatively nice start to our Thanksgiving, albeit a bit on the cold side. We'll take another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Plus, we're going to visit a school that works with autistic students and see how they turn this holiday into a learning opportunity.
There's a new option in town for your vet care. Mutt Maine and Joplin. Mutt Medics offers preventative care options, affordable prices, and wellness packages for your pet. Mutt Medics, now open at 20th and Main and Joplin.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Thanksgiving Thursday. Hope you are off to a great start for today. We want to talk about a couple of things. One, the system that we're still watching heading into this upcoming weekend. So here's Saturday, 3 o'clock. I want to emphasize one thing. The bulk of the snow and the main winter weather activity is going to take place over far western Kansas. So we'll see some, but we're not going to see nearly as much as our friends further west. By 3 o'clock Saturday, we got a few showers in there. We're starting to get a light wintry mix, maybe some light snow in our far northwestern counties. That freezing line does not really start to move until we go overnight Saturday into Sunday, and that's when we might have at least a brief opportunity for a little more of a light wintry mix, light snow across the region overnight Saturday into early Sunday morning before this system begins to exit on out of here. And our temperatures will warm up a bit on the backside of this, not significantly so, but they'll be enough that anything we get doesn't really last super long across the area, and we're not really anticipating that much out of this system. Really, the best opportunities for some light, wet snow accumulations in the white highlighted areas here are northwestern portions of southeastern Kansas and far northern reaches into southwest Missouri, so from, let's say, Nevada and points north. This is one other computer model's expectation on the snow. Hasn't changed a whole lot since early this morning, but again, this is just one computer model's thoughts on how much snow we may receive. And again, I think the biggest concern is going to be out to our west. So here we are, and out to our west is a winter storm watch. So if you are watching us, say, on the KOAM Plus app, you're visiting friends, you're out west in Colby, Hayes, Dodge City, Wichita, or maybe even north, and you're going to come back south, be aware that through Sunday at midnight, that at least right now, there is a winter storm watch for a good portion of southern and western Kansas out there. All right, back home, 34 degrees in Joplin right now, south breeze at 38, we have those clear skies, but the clouds will begin to increase a little later. 34, Pittsburgh, Lamar, Carthage, Fort Scott, Nevada. 32, Iola. 30, Parsons, Chitopa. A little cooler in Miami, sitting at 25, and 31 over in Neosho. So sunny skies, chilly start, 50 by a late morning. And then today, increasing clouds start to go partly cloudy late afternoon, but highs today at or even above average, upper 50s, low 60s. Clouds increase overnight as a cold front rolls through. Winds pick up too, gusting out of the northeast about 25. Lows fall back into the low to mid 30s. As you go into Black Friday for shopping, 6 a.m., you're going to want to bundle up. Gusty winds continue. Cold, cloudy, 35 by noon, still cloudy, 37, 39 at 4, still breezy, still cold out there. We're looking at highs in the mid 40s. So let's skip this on ahead to the 7-day for you real quick. So again, low to mid 40s for us on our Friday. And this is what I'm talking about. See the highs, upper 40s on Saturday, mid 40s on Sunday. So anything we get does not last too long. Now, it does get cold Sunday night, and as we kick into next week, lows back into the 20s, and our highs stay below average. It won't be until the far reaches of next week that we start to see our highs get a little closer to normal, and then again, maybe even above normal by Friday and Saturday next week with some shower chances out there. But again, want to just reemphasize, you don't need to run to the store for the bread and the milk. We're not expecting major accumulations, but if you're traveling, just be aware the roads could be a little more slicker than you might be expecting as we head into this weekend. Well, coming up, Black Friday, as we just mentioned, that is tomorrow. And we're going to hear how one store is getting a head start on holiday shopping.
Early and kickstart your Black Friday with a buzz at Quick Sip, Joplin's new returns.
Don't miss the return of the McRib. Get 20% off any order of $5 or more in the McD app.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Thanksgiving is not the only time to gather and eat some delicious dinner.
It's also an opportunity to learn for several autistic students from a school in New Jersey. Fox's Chris O'Connell has more.
Mashed potatoes. However many plates you feel comfortable carrying.
So this is a kid. I need turkey and gravy.
Just keep them rolling, guys.
An early Thanksgiving meal has become somewhat of a yearly tradition at Durand School in Woodbury, New Jersey.
A turkey. It's stuffing.
So our students here, we serve our children from 5 to 21 with autism or developmentally delayed.
For students and staff, it's a chance to connect, say thanks, and even write down what they're thankful for over a big turkey dinner.
We don't always get time to sit down together to talk and have just a normal conversation.
But for these students, the turkey, the gravy, and all the fixins is more than just a Thanksgiving feast. It's preparing them for what many of us take for granted. You see, the meal is like a classroom in itself.
Tastes pretty good. I'm gonna go eat it.
Teachers are using the Thanksgiving message to emphasize life skills like good manners and hygiene.
A lot of our students have sensory aversion, so they don't like the food that might be at Thanksgiving. They have a hard time sitting down at the table.
We're working on paced feeding, that we're not stuffing, that we're not eating things off of other people's plates.
The event helps these neurodiverse students prepare for a Thanksgiving dinner at home with their families. And yes, even those uncomfortable conversations Hayden has already had.
I don't like turkey because it's disgusting. But not all people are a huge fan of turkey.
If they can do it here, then they can do it at home with their families. And the families can take the time to enjoy each other instead of trying to teach their child how to engage in an appropriate meal.
And teachers say they enjoy the meal just as much as the students they serve.
Come together and contribute to this phenomenal feast for our staff and our students to enjoy together.
When you're right, you're thankful for food, okay.
Certainly incredible what they're doing out there, and they were having a lot of fun. And you know, Aiden's right. Not everybody likes turkey.
That is true. I'm more of a mac and cheese kind of girl. Ain't gonna lie.
Okay, well, and see,
I zone in on.
I like turkey with plentiful gravy. Ham though is pretty good too. It's pretty juicy.
I'll pass on that. Just give me mac and cheese, and I'm okay.
Well, then see, that makes it a lot easier to cook for your Thanksgiving dinner, doesn't it?
Very easy to please, but. That's all for right now.
Yeah, we got more coming up, don't we?
Coming up, an explosion at the New York and Canadian border have officials on alert. You're watching the KOM News on Fox 14. I'm trying. It was the back. I always have a mix up when I feel in anchoring.
Oh my gosh. No, but I can assure you we are passing no gas here on Fox 14, but we are passing along some with some news you need to know. We also have the weather you need to know. We're going to take a look at all of that when we come back.
Time it takes to enjoy a slice or two, you can make a difference. It takes little to be big.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
Welcome back to the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29, and no surprise, but Walmart has already prepared for the potential rush of shoppers by doubling down on Black Friday. The retailer plans to offer 2 Black Friday events and to wrap up the month with some Cyber Monday savings. Although many people will associate the event with some big savings, one employee in Pittsburgh wants people to know safety is the store's first concern.
Safety's number one. We have to focus on that safety, and especially today. It's a very busy day in the store, day before Thanksgiving. A lot of customers are out getting their last minute stuff. You have to make sure that we are, like I said, it's almost like a puzzle. You're moving things around, but you have to do it strategically.
Walmart Plus members get 3 hours head start on Black Friday deals. Some changes coming to the Kansas license plates. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced the new design today. The state plans to phase out the old embossed standard plates because of safety concerns. Head on over to komnewsnow.com/news and let us know if you like the new design. The design pays tribute to the state motto across the bottom of the plate. New York's governor says there was no indication of a terrorist attack in the Thanksgiving Eve vehicle crash and explosion that killed 2 people at a checkpoint on the American side of the U.S.-Canadian bridge in Niagara Falls, New York. Michael George has more.
Dramatic video shows the vehicle speeding along the roadway and launching into the air before landing and exploding on the U.S. side of the border with Canada. Authorities say the 2 people inside the car died in the incident that took place on the busiest travel day of the year.
At this time, there is no indication of a terrorist attack, but I state the caveat that the investigation is ongoing.
A preliminary federal law enforcement assessment obtained by CBS News says the vehicle hit a curb or embankment, crashed through a fence, and landed in a secondary inspection area, then caught fire and exploded. The incident, the day before Thanksgiving, initially raised security concerns on both sides of the border.
The world is watching to find out what happened here. And again, at a time when there's such high anxiety, stress levels are already high, and we've been on heightened alert since October 7th.
Disclosing few details, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said the driver was from Western New York.
And then it looked like he hit the fence, and this fire started, and then all of a sudden he went up in the air, and then it was a ball of fire like 30, 40 feet high. I've never seen anything like it.
A Border Patrol officer was injured, but officials say he was largely protected by a security booth. The Rainbow Bridge will remain closed for now as law enforcement continues to investigate. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
The White House said the president has been closely following developments, and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said officials were taking this extraordinary seriously.
And we've got ourselves a relatively nice thing. See, now it's rubbing off. That's what's happening here. We have a great start to our Thanksgiving out there. We've got a beautiful sunrise, clear skies for now, but clouds will increase a little bit later. It's our camera on the Cornell Complex. Clear skies from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. And what's unusual about this for this time of day is there's some cars out there, but not nearly as many as there usually is about this time of morning. We are cold, though, as we start our day. 34 in Joplin, 33 in Pittsburgh right now. We'll warm up to at or even slightly above average today. We'll go into the upper 50s, maybe even a couple of lower 60s out there. We'll start to go partly cloudy by late afternoon and mostly cloudy as we head through the evening out there, and temperatures are going to fall back. It's going to be another chilly night out there. We'll talk about your Black Friday forecast. Boy, it is really happening. It is bad this morning. We're going to talk about your Black Friday forecast and the storm system we're watching this weekend here in just a few more minutes. Amber? Thanks, Chris. Well, we're also going to see what's happening to you and I is happening now, I think, to our technology. And that's just the way it is. So it's going to be chilly on your Black Friday. I'll talk about, I've done this before, okay? When we had the power outage, I had to go for a little bit, but I'm told now we're ready. So now, here's Amber with more.
All righty, thank you, Chris. A U.S. warship shot down attack drones over the Red Sea Thursday morning. According to the United States Central Command, the USS Thomas Hutter fired a multiple one-way attack drones launched in Yemen. The drones were reportedly shot down while on patrol. Officials say there's no damage to the ship or injuries sustained by the crew. This comes as tensions have increased in the Red Sea region since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, with Yemen's Iran-backed rebels claiming to have fired ballistic missiles and drones towards Israel. On Sunday, the Galaxy Leader cargo ship was hijacked in the Red Sea with about 25 crew members on board. The deal reached between Israel and Hamas to release at least 60 hostages held in Gaza has been delayed. The previous expectations were released to begin as early as Thursday, but none of the hostages will be freed before Friday. The deal paused the fighting, which was also delayed until Friday, according to Israeli officials. Following the successful release of women and children hostages held by Hamas, the focus would then turn to getting elderly men, Israeli soldiers, and the remains of those killed out of Gaza. No word yet on when negotiations will begin for the next group to be released, but the White House says there's at least 10 unaccounted for Americans they believe are hostages. More than a dozen Democratic senators are asking President Biden to urge Israel to open its border to let in humanitarian aid for Palestinians in Gaza. The 13 senators, including Tim Kaine and Elizabeth Warren, sent a letter to the president Monday. They say they are worried about the increased suffering in Gaza is not only unbearable for the Palestinians, but it also negatively affects the security of Israelis. The letter comes on the heels of the Biden administration warning Israel that eroding support will have dire consequences for the country's fight against Hamas. The senators are also asking the president to define the role country will play in encouraging a peaceful resolution and rebuilding. So far, no word yet on the White House on the matter. People in Iceland are on the edge as officials say they are in a high probability of a volcanic eruption any day now. The looming eruption has forced evacuations, and authorities say it's an ongoing process to allow some residents to temporarily return home and gather some of their belongings. Fred Pilgin has the details.
Taking off straight to the emergency zone. We're on a mission with Iceland's Coast Guard to the already affected area by what could soon be a massive volcanic eruption.
You can see how everything here is on knife's edge, but of course, the authorities are doing everything they can to save the town and save the infrastructure.
The town is called Grindavik. Massive cracks in the roads show the places where pressure from an underground magma stream has already burst through the Earth's crust. The ground now uneven, as the crew says they've been observing the rift widening in the past days.
We see differences between days. Sometimes we see the crack a little bit wider.
Grindavik was evacuated and could soon be completely destroyed by hot lava, authorities fear.
From up here, you can already see just how extensive the damage already is to the town of Grindavik, and that crack that you see runs all the way to the ocean.
Iceland is in an area of massive volcanic activity. While this part of the country had been dormant for around 800 years, scientists say, in the past 2 years, volcanic activity has come back to life with several major eruptions. We fly over the most recent one. past the mouth of the volcano and over seemingly endless lava fields still steaming hot even months after the actual eruption ended. On the ground, crews are working around the clock to try and build a berm to protect this geothermal power plant. And we also see the world-famous Blue Lagoon hot springs, normally a major tourist attraction, now closed down and also evacuated. The economic toll already immense.
What do you think it means for the people there?
I can't even imagine, losing their houses and maybe their, work, their whole life. It's crazy.
Iceland's government says a major eruption here remains highly likely, and it could happen in a matter of days. Iceland's Coast Guard aviators say they are on alert all the time.
In case of the volcano starts, then we will fly over the area to help to evacuate the people.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Lauren Green shares how New York City is on high alert ahead of the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
And we'll have another look at your forecast, including tomorrow's Black Friday forecast and the weekend ahead when we come back.
This year, let Ford make the holidays bright.
You need now. Find out all the ways to access Mercy at mercynow.net.
New York City is on high alert as organizers get ready for the annual Thanksgiving Day Parade. Fox News correspondent Lauren Green has the story.
Here on the Upper West Side of Manhattan on the eve of Thanksgiving Day, police are out in full force. The balloons are being inflated for the parade tomorrow, but looming over this festive atmosphere is the threat of terror because of the ongoing war in the Middle East, as the city is on its guard.
We're going to continue to coordinate with the New York State Intelligence Center to identify those threats. We know that after October 7th, there's been an increase in level of concerns, but we're on top of it.
The war between Israel and Hamas created tensions both abroad and here at home. New York City and state officials are on high alert from an uptick in terror chatter and are challenged with ensuring a safe environment for millions during one of the city's most watched and attended events of the year. For nearly 100 years, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade has been the centerpiece of New York's iconic holiday season kickoff. But despite the heightened threat of extremist activity, officials say there's no credible threat.
We are continuing to increase security, working with NYPD, supplementing with the state police. All of our intelligence operations are on high alert, no doubt about it. They have been since October 7th. From our online monitoring, there are no credible threats toward violence at any particular event.
Tomorrow, tens of thousands of people will line the parade route. Along with them, a heavy security and police presence that will ensure that everyone enjoys the parade on Thanksgiving Day.
Coming up, the U.S. Treasury is warning residents of scamming attacks ahead of the shopping season. More on that when we come back.
And we're going to have another look at that forecast, including Black Friday and the storm system we're monitoring this weekend right after this.
I'm not coming out until Casey's has thin crust.
Buy one large single topping pizza, get the second 50% off. Only at Casey's.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 7:46 now on this Thursday, Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Hope you're getting the day off just right out there. It's not too bad. It's a little chilly. But let's talk about this weekend. This is 3 o'clock Saturday. Rain showers into our western counties, maybe a light wintry mix in the far northwestern reaches. As we head into Saturday evening, as you can see initially, we're still warm enough for most of us that anything that falls is going to be rain, but a light wintry mix still possible. And as you can see, the freezing line doesn't do a lot of moving initially. So this is really still confined to our far northwestern counties. It won't be until early Sunday morning that we'll see that freezing line shift just enough that briefly we'll get a slightly more widespread area of maybe a light wintry mix and perhaps some light snow out there, which at this point isn't expected to add up to much for us, but could make travel a little hazardous if you're returning home. The better opportunity for a light, wet snowfall is going to come up into the northwestern portions of our area and on the Missouri side from, say, Nevada northward. And this computer model hasn't changed a lot, but this is what its thinking is in terms of snowfall totals. But again, anything we get is going to be relatively light out there. The worst of it's going to stay to our west, where there's currently a winter storm watch for a good portion of western and southwestern Kansas. Now, because I got to skip a bit, I want to talk real quick about Black Friday. We've been mentioning that. It's going to be cold. It's going to be breezy. Northeast breeze gusting upwards of 25, 35 at 6. We're going to go into the upper 30s and eventually low to mid 40s as we go through the day. And again, cloudy and breezy. And now for that 7-day forecast real fast. Mid 40s again tomorrow, mostly cloudy. This is what I'm talking about too. Look at these temperatures, upper 40s, mid 40s. So anything we get doesn't last long. It does get cold Sunday night into Monday and Tuesday night. Chilly start to next week, sunny skies below normal. By the end of next week, temperatures start to warm back up to normal and we see some shower chances. Now, here's Amber with Consumer Watch.
In Consumer Watch this morning, turns out scammers don't take vacay days during the holidays. The Treasury Department's Office of Cybersecurity and Critical Infrastructure Protection is reminding consumers that cyber scammers will still be hard at work to ruin your Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. The office says the rise of artificial intelligence is helping scammers with malicious phishing attacks. They recommend not rushing to purchase or pay for something so quickly, but only from reputable merchants. Watch for unexpected emails or phone calls from financial institutions and monitor your financial statements and credit card for suspicious activity. We'll be right back after the break.
There's a new option in town for your vet care. Mutt Medics is now open at 20th and Main in Joplin.
On Fox 14.
A Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelers and Woody's Smokehouse.
A city in North Carolina is hosting the nation's largest Bob Ross painting exhibit. Fox Heidi Kirk gives us a small peek on some of the pieces and what people are saying.
People pouring into North Carolina Wesleyan University, all here for one man, Bob Ross.
I look at these paintings through a photographer's eyes.
Aside from sharing the same name, Bob Casanova telling WRAL he also connects with Ross as an artist.
I use a high-resolution camera for my work, and with that, you can see details that you normally wouldn't notice in real life. And so what I see in his paintings is just amazing details.
The exhibit is bringing people to Wesleyan University from around the world to see more than 70 works of art.
The dedication is there from all these people and all his fans, and they're really in all ages.
And of course, even the little ones have their favorites.
Mine's the one with the mountains and red bushes and like green trees. And like a lake that goes like that.
It's an event breaking records as the largest Bob Ross collection in the United States and bringing unlikely visitors to Rocky Mount.
I'd encourage Wesleyan just to keep up the good work. I mean, this exhibit really puts Wesleyan on the map.
And people won't forget it, as they say. Ross is a one-of-a-kind artist, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
This painting has depth. You just look into it, and it just seems to trail off into the distance.
Kind of like a photograph.
Kind of like a photograph, that's right.
All right, quick recap heading into the weekend. Saturday afternoon, light showers in our western counties, maybe a light wintry mix. The freezing line takes a while to move, so any wintry precipitation remains light and well into our northwestern counties. It won't be until overnight, Saturday into Sunday, and we're talking early Sunday morning, that we'll see that transition to a light wintry mix, maybe some light snow over a broader area. The good news is not expected to add up to much. The better opportunities for seeing some light wet snow accumulations highlighted in white, so our northwestern counties, and then in southwest Missouri, north of Nevada, so basically along and north of Highway 54 out there. One computer model's just its thinking is that some of us could see around a couple inches of snow, but in all honesty, anything we see, A, isn't going to add up to a lot, and B, should not have any significant implications other than making roadways slick if you're traveling. So be aware of that this weekend. If you're out west, though, that's where the worst of it's expected. Upwards of maybe 6 inches of snow. And so there are winter storm watches for a good portion of southwestern Kansas through midnight Sunday. So if you're watching us on KOAM Plus, maybe you're going to be coming home this weekend. Keep that in mind where we could see a little bit more snow. We'll have another look at today's forecast, the 7-day, and the news you need to know right after this.
We are proud to salute Donald Howard, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out that door. A judge sentenced a Goodman, Missouri man to life in prison for child sex crimes. Authorities say David Hood sexually assaulted 3 underage family members. A jury found him guilty of statutory rape, first-degree sodomy, and 3 counts of incest. He received 3 life sentences for the crimes. Police are investigating after a person was killed in a shooting outside of a casino in Bartelsville, Oklahoma on Tuesday. According to the Osage County Sheriff's Office, a tribal officer was responding to a possible theft at the new Osage Casino and Hotel. Police say a person was allegedly trying to leave with stolen property. The person then tried to drive away as the officer was trying to get into the car. Police say that's when a citizen shot the driver, who died from their injuries. Authorities say neither the suspected shooter or the driver of the tribal members was tribal members. The head of Call Junction Chamber of Commerce is stepping down. The chamber today said farewell to its executive director, Kavanaugh Studevin, with a small public event. Studevin plans to continue serving her community with economic security cooperation in Joplin as a community organizer.
And we are going to be at or above normal, upper 50s, maybe some low 60s. Clouds going to be increasing late in the afternoon, going partly cloudy, and then we'll go mostly cloudy heading into the evening and overnight. Breezy northeast wind at about 25 miles an hour. We'll be back into the low 30s tonight. For our Black Friday, mid 40s out there, breezy, chilly, cloudy. Watching that system this weekend, some light showers, maybe a light wintry mix out there, and then cold to start next week, but a little more sunshine out there. So thank you all so much for spending your Thanksgiving with us. Hope it's a fantastic one. We'll be back at noon with more news and weather.
Have a great morning and an even better day.